like I said, time is a factor here. We have to let time pass because we will not know how many more 50-year-olds will accomplish what Phil did. Now, if the 50-year-old mark is not necessarily tied, it can never be beaten. Okay, I mean, it can be beaten if you go older, but whoever accomplishes it the next time, how old is that person in reference to how old Phil was when Phil won? So, we're going to need some time for this to have occurred. What's remarkable about Phil's victory, the most remarkable thing was it's such a positive feeling for Phil Mickelson because when he has lost events that were heartbreaking. And this man has shown a resilience. I mean, you have to keep this in mind. His first win as an amateur on the PGA Tour is 30 years ago. That's incredible. I mean, when you think about it, that's the longest span of time between his first win and what his next win was. His current win on the PGA Tour. In regards to the crowd control, I mean, clearly in hindsight, the PGA of America is going to have to give some thought about how they're going to go through crowd control in the event that you get towards the ending hole. I mean, God forbid if something had happened where Brooks Koepka was injured and the event was much closer, maybe a shot or maybe they were tied. You'd hate to see anything of that sort happen. But in hindsight, I think it was a pure emotion of the people that were there. I just think that when they look back at this, I think the PGA of America will try to reroute crowd control to make sure that, they don't have these things happen. But at the Open Championship, they allow fans to come up right up until, the 18th hole, but they know how to keep them, they marshal them enough to make sure that they don't interfere with play. But from the standpoint of Koepka's comment, I think you have to be smart enough to say, God forbid if something were to happen to a player as he was getting to the 18th green, what kind of ramifications would that have for the event itself? That did not happen here, but that's something for food for thought as they go forward for future, and not just the PGA of America, but obviously for the USGA with the US Open and the R&A with the Open Championship. They're going to have to look very carefully at this to make sure that, something doesn't happen that could cause a real serious black eye.
And the other thing to consider too, unfortunately, in this day and age, I mean, hopefully the Koepka and Mickelson aren't going to pick up, the virus by having to walk through a bunch of people who weren't wearing masks. You hope that nobody was sick, had the virus, everybody had been vaccinated, but who knows? You can't guarantee anything these days. Last thing though, got about a minute. Your feeling on the ocean course, getting a major once again in the near future. Do you only see the PGA? If so, do you only see the PGA coming there? Could you see a U.S. Open played there one day?
Well, I think the way the U.S. Open calendar is working right now, the USGA has made a real close relationship with the Pinehurst Resort in North Carolina, and they will be staging several U.S. Opens in the years to come. The difficulty really rests with getting a site in the Southeast. And what I mean by that is any place that's east of the Mississippi and south of Washington, D.C. The time of year in June is a tough time for the growing of grass and how they would like to have the tournament set up. I would not rule out the ocean course from another PGA, also any other specialized event. I would not say for sure because I think in the future it's hard to read tea leaves, but I cannot believe that anybody would come out of this thinking that the ocean course is not of the high caliber worthy of being considered for something of the sort that you're talking about. I could not say that that could be ruled in or out, but the way the calendar is set right now, a U.S. Open is not going to happen at the ocean course probably for at least another decade, if not more. But again, one cannot rule this out. I think the PGA will be back depending upon if the club, the Kiowa Resort is interested in having them come back. And I think that would be a real plus for all.
Well, we are interested in having you come back anytime you're on the golf trail, and you and I will talk and correspond here. But I can't tell you how much we appreciate your addition, and what you brought to us is something we couldn't match. So thank you so much for your great work, and best of luck in the future. I hope people reach out to you, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Well, thank you, guys. And like I said, all the best. I'm pulling for the Gamecocks in baseball coming up. So sorry, all Tiger fans, but Gamecock blood runs deep here. So I'll be pulling for them when they're on the trail in Alabama.
Thank you, my friend. Good talking to you. We'll talk again. Okay, Matt Ward, MJ Ward, who is a former USC student. He's an alum, and as he pointed out to us, worked for the Gamecock. I think I maybe crowned him as the editor. I think maybe he was the sports editor. But, man, does he do a great job. Man, did I love having him on. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I've enjoyed shows more than what we did from the Players Club Thursday and Friday, having him on, having George Bryan on. I mean, we weren't there in person, but I think we gave as good an insight on things as anybody because you had a guy in George Bryan who'd actually played in a PGA championship, who teaches the game of golf, who knows the ocean course. And then you had Matt, who's traveled the world covering the PGA Tour and covering major championships. So, very, very exciting. Appreciate him being with us, and we'll do more. We'll do more with him in the months and weeks to come as he travels and covers events once again. Somebody sent me a picture, one of our listeners, and, it's a picture of Mickelson walking through the crowd, and he's got a South Carolina Highway patrolman on each flank, and fans are behind him, and one fan's got his hand on Mickelson's shoulder, and the fan is looking into whoever's taking the picture, got his thumbs up, but his hand is resting squarely on Mickelson's shoulder. Mm-hmm. And unless that's the highway patrolman's hand, no, it looks like the fan's hand. But, and the writer says you can't have this happening, not in today's world. And, it's a fine line. We all want to be able to adore our sports heroes, and I think it's a great moment. I think it's an absolutely great moment when fans can rush and celebrate a great win in any of the sports. But, today, I don't know, are fans today more unruly than 50, 60, 70 years ago when they used to do this and nobody said boo about it? They just went and did it. In today's world, would you see fans like when South Carolina broke the 21-game football losing streak and went and tore down the goalpost and carried the goalpost through the streets of Columbia. Would you dare do that today with the way this sort of thing is looked upon by people?
You would bring this up with 60 seconds to go before the top of the hour.
We got a whole 60 minutes to come.
I could not disagree with you more. Fans, there's a reason you're called a fan. You are supposed to stay in the stands. Well, you're not supposed to be on the playing surface, whatever it may be, whether it's a basketball court, whether it's a football field, or in this regard, whether it's down the middle of the 18th fairway. That could have been an awfully, awfully dangerous situation. I think Brooks Koepka was spot on yesterday, criticizing the PGA for not taking much better security while those guys were coming up the final hole.
Okay. Gary Gilmore coming up after the break and more. Don't go away.
The only afternoon local talk radio in Columbia is the Afternoon Drive with Kev. It's all about you. It's your phone calls. It's my challenging topics. All the news, traffic, and weather weekdays, 4 p.m. on The Point.
Press that button, home stew.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters. The White House says it's waiting to hear back from Republicans in negotiations on infrastructure spending. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
Following an updated White House proposal last week, spokeswoman Jen Psaki says President Biden is awaiting a counteroffer from Senate Republicans.
The ball is in their court. We are awaiting their counterproposal. We would welcome that. We're eager to engage.
The White House dropped $500 billion from its initial offer, but Republicans oppose the $1.7 trillion price tag and the president's proposed corporate tax increase to pay for it. Greg Clugston, Washington.
International condemnation continues to come in against Belarus for their forced landing of a Ryanair jet traveling from Greece to Lithuania to arrest an opposition journalist. In an interview for Sky News, Lithuanian Prime Minister Ingrida Šimonytė says her nation is issuing instructions to avoid Belarusian airspace after the incident.
Most of the people on board were Lithuanian citizens, but still it could have been whatever flight between whatever two capitals of European Union.
EU leaders have demanded the immediate release of the journalist Roman Protasevich, a key foe of authoritarian Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko. Correspondent Joseph Krause reports another violent attack, this time in East Jerusalem.
An Israeli soldier and an Israeli civilian were stabbed and wounded before police opened fire and killed the attacker. Police have not identified the attacker, but they have described it as a terrorist attack, which is a term that they usually reserve for attacks carried out by Palestinians.
2 men in their early 20s were hospitalized with stab wounds to their upper bodies. Monday's attack came in the tense aftermath of an 11-day war between Israel and Gaza's militant Hamas rulers. It was triggered by protests and clashes in Jerusalem. On Wall Street, the Dow by 186 points. More at townhall.com.
Tell me why Relief Factor is so successful in lowering or eliminating pain. I'm often asked that question. Pete and Seth Talbot, the father and son founders of Relief Factor, tell me they believe our bodies were designed to heal. The doctors who formulated Relief Factor selected the 4 best ingredients, 100% drug-free ingredients that each help your body deal with inflammation. Order the 3-week quick start now. Discounted to only $19.95 to see if it will work for you too. Call 800-500-8384. ReliefFactor.com.
Having your own home is awesome, but it's also a lot of work. The good news, finding help for your projects is easier than ever. Introducing Angie, the app that puts all your home care needs at your fingertips. Need a pro to fix that emergency leak? Maybe find someone to build a deck, or even set your seasonal tasks on autopilot. Angie can handle all that and more. Expert pros, hundreds of home projects, clear pricing, and the easiest way to book and pay in seconds. This is Angie, your home for everything home. Download the app today.
Democrats are warning that if the Supreme Court deals a blow against Roe versus Wade, they'll follow through on their threat to pack the court. Correspondent Bob Agnew reports.
Since the high court tipped to majority conservative under former President Trump, Democrats have been speaking openly about adding enough new justices to nullify the conservative edge. Talk of court packing has exploded amid fears the high court may uphold a Mississippi abortion law in a ruling Democrats fear could upend Roe versus Wade. It's far from a done deal. Democrats have yet to muster the full support from their own members that would be needed to pass a law expanding the court. Bob Agnew reporting.
A Russian man was sentenced to what amounted to time already served in U.S. government custody and will be deported for trying to pay a Tesla employee $500,000 in a failed attempt to install computer malware in a bid to steal company secrets for ransom. Igor Kryukov apologized to a federal judge in Reno, Nevada. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
And here's tonight's forecast. Won't cool down much for this evening as we drop to 69 as a low. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, and 94 as our high. There's a slight 20% chance of a shower. Wednesday through Friday will bring us highs in the upper 90s. Sunday is our cool down day with a high of just 77 degrees. I'm Brian Leonard with your On Point local weather. WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
By the way, before we do what's supposed to happen here, thank you for pushing the button.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil, Chris, and Pat with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Sports Talk Media Network. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, and Pat Daniel. We're all together looking ahead to a great week of baseball that we look forward to covering for you here on Sports Talk. College baseball tournaments everywhere. We're going to be at the SEC. We're going to be up at the ACC as well, and keeping an eye on all the other conference tournaments, SoCon, Sun Belt, Big South, CAA. Everybody's playing baseball. Did I say Big South? Big South.
You did.
Everybody's playing baseball. We are going to be keeping a close watch on them, and that includes Coastal Carolina. The Chanticleers haven't had the kind of season that they are used to, but putting together a little bit of a streak here heading into the postseason with 4 straight wins to end the regular season, coming off a sweep of Texas State. And Coach Gary Gilmore, who, I know he doesn't keep up with the list of accomplishments that he has in his career. They're so lengthy. That list is so lengthy, but he checked off a couple of more boxes with wins over the weekend and earlier in the week, and he joins us here now on Sports Talk. It's always good to have him with us. And, Coach, good evening. Welcome into Sports Talk. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing outstanding, Phil. Thank you for having me.
As always. And, congratulations on your most recent accomplishments, including 1,000 wins at Coastal Carolina. That's a heck of a deal there. Did you ever think you'd make it to 1,000 wins at one place?
Me and you just growing old together, buddy.
Yep. It looks good, though, right, to see, 1 and 3 zeros right there on the resume?
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about that. No, it's been an incredible time here at Coastal Carolina, and all my dreams and wishes and things. God's been good to me, buddy.
No question about it. And you guys have not had the kind of year, as I mentioned. You're 26 and 23 going into postseason play, but maybe you're seeing a little spark here down the stretch as you go into postseason play.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we played very good for 4 straight games, and we've just been fighting it. We lost 4 of our best arms in the beginning of the year that didn't pitch for us, and we got wiped out with a stomach virus. Then we got a 10-day shutdown with COVID, and we've never have recovered. We were playing halfway decent with 13 and 6, and went through a whole deal where we played a weekend with only half our team. Got beat up, came home and got COVID, set another 10, 12 days out before we played again. And it's just been, kind of one good game here and 2 games that you just shake your head at. So, this is the first time last week that we actually strung, some games together where we pitched fairly well and played defense and, played coastal baseball for 4 days in a row.
What seems to be the feeling among your players, confidence level as you go into the tournament? You got an early start tomorrow as well, playing in the morning. But what seems to be the feeling among the players about what you guys can accomplish here moving forward?
I mean, I feel like from talking to them, they believe we can win this thing. I mean, the teams that won our league, I mean, we've beaten all of them, and at least once, if and one of them twice. So, I mean, it's a deal where at the end of the day, if we play really well, we're capable of winning this thing. We drew a tough draw. We got the pitcher of the year going against us tomorrow, so that'll be a challenge. But no matter who it is that you play, there's going to be somebody opening day that's going to be really good. We have to match that with great pitching on our end and just flat out outplay them. So that's not anything any different than what we've done for years. We just have to get it done now.
Sure. What will be your pitching plans going into the tournament?
I mean, we're going to start Shad and Peavy House, and from there it'll just we'll just based on their lineup we'll match up with whatever. We're not saving the game two guy. We have to win both our games in our pool to move on because of the way we ended this season. And seeded last in our group. So it's one of those years where there's no wiggle room. We have to win the first two and put these other two guys out, and we'll just play it kind of one pitch at a time and go from there.
Coastal Carolina head baseball coach Gary Gilmore with us. 1,250 career victories, 1,000 now at his alma mater. This past weekend, the Chanticleers sweeping Texas State as they get ready for Sun Belt Conference tournament action. Joining us here tonight on Sports Talk. And, Coach, I think anyone who follows your program, heck, people who may not follow your program know the name Parker Chavers, who was named a second-teamer on the All-Sun Belt team along with B.T. Ryapel. But I'm curious about Eric Brown. It's been outstanding for you at shortstop this season. As a sophomore, has he surprised you, or did you anticipate he was going to have the kind of season that he has to this point? Second on your club in terms of batting average, but also with the glove.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually just sheer numbers. He may be the best numerical shortstop we've had since I've been here. Which when you start talking about the Monitors and Paez's and all those kind of guys. That's saying a whole lot. Offensively, he went through a period of time, and it kind of coincided with us struggling. He just couldn't figure it back out again offensively, and then the last week or so, he's been absolutely outstanding, and obviously coincided with us being a whole lot better. So he's a young man that has incredible talent. Hopefully. He can continue on his hot streak this week in the tournament and see where it can take us.
You mentioned a few minutes ago you don't get the easiest draw. You're in Pool A at the Sun Belt Conference baseball tournament starting tomorrow down in Montgomery, Alabama. You're in with South Alabama and also Little Rock. And, Coach, this is the first year the Sun Belt has tried the pool play format, much like the ACC has done for years. What is your take on that? Do you like the change from a typical double elimination tournament? And if so, how do you approach, as you mentioned, you've got to win tomorrow and then probably have to win on Wednesday against South Alabama. But what is your takeaway from the new pool play format of the tournament?
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of pool play in conference like ours, where at the end of the day, there are too many meaningless games. Depending on how it goes or whatever, you could, you lose your first game. Heck, man, the second game, basically you could pack your bags and go home because your season was over when you lost the first one. And it goes throughout the tournament. It's different in the ACC because they have so many of those teams in a typical year get to go on and play in a regional somewhere, so they actually have something to play for. I'm not a huge fan of it. We kind of forced to do it for simple, just with the COVID, so that everyone, not knowing who all would get to play and how many games and all that that everyone at least got into the tournament. And we may end up with an 18 or a two pool of four, round robin pool play a year from now or something. I don't know. We've discussed that. I just think with leagues where you're trying to get 2 or 3 bids or whatever, and versus an ACC where heck, they're usually getting 6, 7, 8 bids at a time. It's just a different way of looking at it.
Gary Gilmore, Coastal Carolina baseball coach, with us here for a couple of more minutes on Sports Talk. So what about this Little Rock, Arkansas, or Arkansas Little Rock team that you're going to be facing in the morning? I don't think you played them in the regular season. What is important to know about these guys?
Well, I mean, they're starting pitchers, the Arnold kids, the pitcher of the year in our league, and I think in the last 4 games he's pitched, he's given up 14 hits total. So kid's really good, and he doesn't walk anybody. So we got to figure out how to navigate that, and but yet he lost 2 of those games, 1-0 and a 2-1. So I mean, they're if we can keep them in check offensively and just keep it into a 1-run game all the way through in any way, shape, or form, you always have a chance to win. We can't give up a bunch of runs to that guy and expect to be able to come back against him. It's just too good.
And then your second game, of course, is against South Alabama. They've had an excellent year. You lost 3 games with them not recently, but they were 3 really tight games. So,
we beat them 1 game, and the other 2 tight games we had chances to win them and lost. So they're very good. They're very much pitching deep. Have very good starting pitching and things, whatever. But we just saw them, and again, we didn't swing the bats very well. Obviously their pitching probably had something to do with it, but I feel like we made some adjustments when we came home, and I feel like we're swinging a little bit better now. So I don't even have them on the radar at this moment in time. I mean, we have to win. We have to win tomorrow. So everything's going into that game tomorrow, and we're fortunate enough to win, and we'll regroup after the game tomorrow, and see what we can do to get ready for those guys. I mean, we just played them, 2 weeks ago, so it won't take a whole lot to get ready to go against them again.
Yeah, you're right. I misread. You won the first game 4-2, then they won the next 2 3-1 and 4-1. So it was a very tight and competitive series. Hey, good luck. We appreciate the time as always. If things go well, we'll reach back out to you. And if you get a nice W tomorrow, maybe get you back on tomorrow night to talk about it, and then talk about South Alabama. So good luck, and thanks for being with us, and we'll talk to you again.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And thanks for what you do for college baseball, guys.
As always, Coach, thank you very much. Gary Gilmore. Maybe they are starting to play a little bit better, putting together a little bit of a winning streak here down the stretch, Chris, that could maybe carry them into postseason play. I think the tournament is in Montgomery, Alabama. Am I right?
That is correct. That is correct, in Montgomery. And have you talked to anybody who likes the pool play format in tournament? I've yet to meet
Kevin
anyone who
McCrary
likes
was
it.
K-Mac when he was the co-host. He was a big backer of pool play. No, he despised it, and I think in the early years when it first came out, and I think the ACC was the first to go to it, at least among the major leagues, we all poo-pooed it and thought it was stupid. And there are some issues with it. Just like you'll know tomorrow, if Clemson loses to Louisville, they're done. Yet they've got to play another game the next day. But there are some positives to it, and that is coaches can set up their pitching in a lot of cases. Now, in Gary's case, he can. He's got to burn everybody tomorrow that he has to. But you can set up your pitchers. You're going to play in the case now. The ACC used to be 3 games guaranteed. Now it's 2. But you could set up your pitching and kind of have a better idea of what you were going to be doing from that standpoint versus trying, like at the SEC, which theirs is based similarly to Omaha. Well, they got the play-in round tomorrow. Then you get to the main draw, And that's double elimination. And if you lose, you drop into the loser's bracket, of course. You have to try and fight your way back up through that. And you could be there one more day, or you could be there, 3 or 4 or 5 more days. So I don't know. I mean, there's some positives and negatives to both sides of it. I've come to be a little more understanding and accepting of the pool play as it's grown on me here.
The one thing I can say about the pool play, and I think Gary Gilmore hit it on the head, is it protects the regular season champions. I think it does a much better job, especially in maybe a league like the Sun Belt, where they might get 1, perhaps 2 teams into the tournament. You've got a better chance of getting your best teams in because they don't have to burn through, should they stumble or stub their toe right out of the starting blocks and have to go back through the losers bracket and burn all of their pitching. I think that might have some merit to it, but I just, especially when, and Coach hit it, and it's the same scenario with Clemson. There are so many meaningless games that might be played, but especially from Clemson's perspective, regardless of what happens tomorrow, they still need to try and go beat Georgia Tech because it's going to help them perhaps get an NCAA tournament bid. Clemson's not just playing for an ACC title. They're playing for their lives in terms of the NCAA tournament too.
That's exactly right. And it doesn't look good for Clemson, to be quite honest with you. I think we all know that at this point. Tigers have really played themselves into a bad corner, something that we just didn't see happening with this baseball team this year. You can point to a number of different things. They had some injuries early on. They had a lot of youth on this team. The pitching is obviously not at a very high caliber right now, up and down the lineup. Not having Matt Clark at the end of the season certainly hurt. I don't know if he's available. Don't know if he's available for the tournament or not. Have you heard if he's on the trip?
I haven't seen anything out of Clemson other than they left today. That was about the last thing I saw them tweet out, but they have not announced their pitching plans. I'm sure Monty Lee has an idea as to whom he'll start tomorrow, but they're keeping that awfully close to the vest. My guess is he would love to be able to run Caden Grice back out there after the effort he gave them on Saturday. He certainly put them in a position to win. He was terrific, but there's no way he's going to be able to go again on that short of rest on Tuesday.
All right, we'll come back and we'll hear from Monty Lee, a little bit of what he had to say after the Tigers lost to Duke, but looking ahead to the tournament, trying to get his team together. We'll also have some comments from Mark Kingston, who just finished up. Mark Kingston just finished up a Zoom session with the media. We'll have that for you as well. Recruiting coming up, too. We'll be back in a moment.
The future of golf is waiting for you at the Players Club. Rain, shine, or after dark, you can enjoy the game of golf anytime at Columbia's Indoor Country Club. The Players Club delivers the most realistic golf experience and offers more than 90 championship courses. Play or practice with the same state-of-the-art full-swing simulators used by Tiger Woods and Jordan Spieth. Visit maincoursesc.com to book a bay and become a player today at the Players Club, part of the Main Course, 1626 Main Street in Columbia.
Hey, folks, mortgage rates have dipped to their lowest levels in recent history. And with home values up in many areas, now may be the perfect time to refinance your home. Whether you're looking to lower your monthly payments, free up cash for home improvements, or just pay off your home faster, a quick call to the one and only Stuart Wingo of Ameris Bank could save you money. If you're looking for competitive rates and exceptional service, call Stuart Wingo. 803-319-1777. That's 803-319-1777. You will save money just like I have so many times over the years. You can also visit him, amerisbank.com/Stuart Wingo. Stuart Wingo, the man with the plan for all your mortgage needs.
There are many things to like about the Carolinas, and one of those is Founders Federal Credit Union Founders Online. The Founders app and using your Founders cards and digital wallets are just some of the perks you'll have at your fingertips. And with over 30 locations, we're always closed. Visit RelaxJoinFounders.com or visit one of our office locations to see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Relax with Founders. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA. Stay tuned. More Sports Talk is coming up on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Life, it has its ups and downs. Sometimes it's little things like hitting every red light or dropping your cell phone. Maybe it's the bills, rent, or pressure at work. But when it comes to the South Carolina Education Lottery, you should never feel like playing will solve everything. The The lottery is a game. It's played for fun. So set a dollar amount. Expect not to win and make sure responsibilities, family, friends, and work come first. Visit playresponsiblysc.com.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I love sports, and I've helped people for over 30 years. Contact me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com when the insurance company won't pay your claim or you have complicated issues. Some other business causes your business to lose money, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. When you lose a relative and find out you got cut out of a will or don't get what was promised. When you have serious injury, like from a wreck or mishap or on the job, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
Enjoy life to the fullest with tasty peanuts that pack a lot of flavor. When it comes to eating peanuts, the research is clear. Peanuts improve your health. Peanuts, a snack that gives back. Crack some open today for a nutritious, sustainable, and earth-friendly treat. Be sure to stop by your local grocery store produce section to pick up a bag of roasted in-shell peanuts. Brought to you by the South Carolina Peanut Board. Visit aboutpeanuts.com for delicious peanut-based recipes.
Okay. Hey, if you didn't know summer is here in South Carolina, well, just step outside. What was it, like 95 plus around the state? Need a place to cool off? We got just the right place for you. It's called Pawleys Island. It's called Litchfield. It's called Garden City and other beautiful spots along the South Carolina coast. You can be there and have a great place to stay. Need a house, need a big house, need a small house, need a condo. Need a place on the beach, need something a little more inland, need a place with a dock, need a place for your boat. Jimmy Smith at James Smith Realty can handle all your needs. For the beach, 843-237-4246 or visit PawleysVacationRentals.com. So give Jimmy Smith a call, and he and his staff will go to work for you to find exactly what you need. 843-237-4246, your perfect beach getaway from Jimmy Smith at James Smith Realty. Got the news here that Keyshawn Askew is going to be the starter for Clemson tomorrow, and Matt Clark is not on the trip. And Chris, you've got some comments from Monty Lee looking ahead to the tournament.
Yeah, he actually was asked on Saturday after their sweep at the hands of Duke exactly what do they need to do, because this is obviously a team that has not played that well down the stretch. What do they need to do to turn things around and have some success at the ACC tournament?
I think we've got to be better in the back half of the game. I think that's we haven't been able to finish games out when it comes to pitching and defense. Need to be a little bit better there. And when we get opportunities to score with runners on base, we need to be a little better with runners in scoring position. I think that's the two things that I see. I thought our starting pitching again was really good today. And we're going to need to get deep into the game from a starting pitching perspective in the ACC tournament. But when we get a lead, we got to be able to hold on to the lead. So we got to make good decisions as a coaching staff, and we got to execute pitches out of the bullpen, and we got to make plays behind our pitching staff. And when we get some opportunities to score runs, we've got to take advantage of those opportunities. That's what good teams do. They hold on to the lead, and they do a good job of cashing in runs when they get opportunities to do that. And we didn't do that today.
How good was it to see Jeff go out and have a couple good innings today, and then to have Caden go as long as he was able to go today?
Yeah, Caden was outstanding today. It was great to see that. That's kind of what we envisioned, and we've seen that version of Caden Grice before in the fall. That's what we saw, and it was great to see Jeff pitch so well. Absolutely, those guys, and I feel bad for Paul. Paul Abriola, he's been throwing the ball well for us. Unfortunately, just good hitter, put a good swing on it, wound up hitting the foul pole, and just tough luck for Paul there.
Your bullpen had been pretty good on the back end for much of the season. What do you have to do heading into the ACC tournament to get back to playing at that level on the back end of the bullpen?
Yeah, we just got to execute pitches. I think that's the biggest thing is, not let the moment, get too big for us and just execute pitches. If we can do that, we'll be just fine. I think a lot of times you just have to go out there and it has to happen for you. You got to stay within yourself and just execute pitches. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's baseball. You make a mistake over the plate. A good hitter puts a good swing on it. But I think a lot of it is, we just got to go out there. Some of these guys just got to have some success and late in the ball game. And, I think, you get that confidence going when you have success.
How much does it help to have a few days off before the ACC tournament to be able to regroup and refocus?
Yeah, we need some time off. I think, having tomorrow off and Monday will be a light day for us. We'll be traveling. It'll be good for us just to mentally and physically get ready for the ACC tournament.
All right, some comments of Monty Lee at the Tigers' last game on Saturday that lost to Duke, but put together to look ahead to the ACC tournament tomorrow. And Mr. Bergen will be in Charlotte at the beautiful ballpark there, and we'll have all that covered for you. And I'll be in Hoover at the beautiful ballpark there covering South Carolina. You'll have Clemson in the morning, and you'll have South Carolina in the early afternoon. If all goes well, we should have plenty of time to have everything ready to go in complete coverage for you tomorrow night. We'll see how long the two teams remain relevant in their respective tournaments. We're going to hear from Mark Kingston coming up after the break.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-430-7568. 800-430-7568. 800-430-7568. That's 800-430-7568.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A Russian man was sentenced to what amounted to time already served and will be deported for trying to pay a Tesla employee $500,000 to install computer malware in a bid to steal company secrets for ransom. Igor Kryukov apologized to a federal judge on Monday in Reno, Nevada. The judge acknowledged the attempted hack wasn't successful and the company network wasn't compromised. The 27-year-old Kryukov has been in custody since his arrest in last August in Los Angeles, and he will remain in custody until he leaves the country. Tesla CEO Elon Musk previously acknowledged that his company was the target of the scheme. Good day on Wall Street as the Dow was up by 186 points, the Nasdaq rose 190, the S&P 500 advancing by 41. More details at srnnews.com.
Spring is more than pollen season. It also means it's termite season. Palmetto Exterminators offers a free inspection at your home to determine any possible issues. Palmetto Exterminators offers the best termite agreement anywhere, but they do so much more. They offer complete pest control, mosquito control, wildlife trapping and removal, and nobody, I mean nobody, can offer you more peace of mind at your home or business. Now, how do I know that? Well, I never tell you to use someone like Palmetto Exterminators unless I practice what I preach. I've been a customer for 19 years, and they are wonderful. My guy, Ron Byers, and his team over at Palmetto Exterminators, they've looked after my family forever. We have no pest control issues whatsoever. But if we did, all it takes is one phone call, and Palmetto Exterminators will fix it. It's pretty simple. Call Palmetto Exterminators and cross pest control right off your list of concerns. Online, it's palmettoexterminators.net, or give my guy Ron a call, 254-5833.
Hello, Midlands. It's Jay here with the Melting Pot. Here's a few questions we get when people call us. Do we serve only chocolate? No, we serve 4 courses, but you can get just chocolate or 4 courses of chocolate. No, you don't have to sit at a big table with strangers around you, but you can sit at a big table with friends around you. You just need to bring the friends with you. We also specialize in having lots of private booths with real walls between them, so you won't feel like a fish in a plexiglass tank. Come and see us at the Melting Pot, 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard.
Leonardo goes shotgun, and they go play action. Look into the end zone. Touchdown, Davis
Allen.
Hey, Tiger fans, although the football season ticket priority deadline has passed, it's not too late to place your order for new season tickets to come back home to Clemson and see your Clemson Tigers play in the Valley this season. To join IPTAY and order your tickets, call 1-800-CLEMSON or visit ClemsonTigers.com/football tickets. That's ClemsonTigers.com/football tickets and come back home to Clemson.
Is that crack in your windshield or your house bothering you?
Have you been meaning to have it replaced but just can't find the time?
Call Absolute Glass, voted Lexington's best glass shop for 12 years in a row.
We repair and replace glass on all makes and models.
We're the only local high-end auto glass specialist in the Midlands, and we'll come to you to make the process quick and easy.
With new technologies and vehicles, we can recalibrate your vehicle back to new.
Visit AbsoluteGlassInc.com to learn more about our auto, home, and business glass services. Just remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, so can you find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
All right, in just a moment, we'll hear some fresh comments from USC baseball coach Mark Kingston. He just did a session with the media from Hoover, Alabama. We'll bring some of that to you here momentarily, though. You know, here on Sports Talk, we like to give back from time to time. We like to bring you important people in your life who can share a good word or two with you. And tonight, a regular visitor to Sports Talk, by popular demand, he returns. He is the State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, who loves to talk about that 529 plan to remind you to save for college. I almost called you Coach. I'll call you Mr. Money Man. Curtis, how are you?
I'm doing better at that introduction. I had a hard day, and I'm feeling good about myself now.
That's what we do here on Sports Talk. We tell people it's your 2 best hours of the day.
Yeah, it is. I don't get to listen nearly as much as I'd like. If I live so close to work, I'm never in the car. But let me say, your producer, Patrick, that's a great guy there. He takes care of your guests pretty well.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
That's why we keep him around.
Yeah, he's good. We do this a fair amount in other places, and he's good. I got to tell you.
Yes, he is. He is a number one, and you are too. And this 529 plan is an a number one plan.
Well, thanks. You know, the 529 plan is a college savings plan. We call it Future Scholars, and it's an award-winning plan, and South Carolinians use it. We have 190,000 families in the program. There's a total of about $5.3 billion now. So
Fantastic.
How large the plan has gotten. Yeah.
Yeah, it continues to grow, doesn't it? I mean, you are pushing it in terms of the publicity and telling people wherever you go, if you're trying to plan for the future and plan for college, you must do this. This is something you have to look at.
That's right. That's why we appreciate time that you give us. You know, 529, people say, well, what kind of name is that? It's a boring thing. It's the IRS code. So we converted to May 29th. You know, it's coming up this Saturday, I guess it is. If you have a baby born in South Carolina on May the 29th, we'll set up a 529 plan for you. And we use private dollars, but we'll fund it with $529.
So if you were smart enough about 9 months ago to plan for this, you'd be ahead of the curve.
I figured it out once. I think it's September 3rd is the magic day. You know, the nurses help us a lot. The doctors stay pretty busy, and the hospitals help us, but the nurses help us a lot. And nurses are, you know, they're frank. And one of them has figured it out and told me once. But, they talk to the expectant mothers. They coach them through how to do this stuff. And if they're lucky enough to be born on that day, they say, you got to call the treasurer. Here's what we do. We get these forms filled out. And all of a sudden, a kid who didn't have any net worth at all has now got a net worth of $529.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So for folks who need to get involved in this, who want to get involved in this, what's the first thing they should do?
FutureScholar.com. FutureScholar.com. That's our website. It's easy to use. We fixed it so that you can join in, you set up an account in 30 minutes or less. There are no fees to start with. There are no fees. You don't have to put any minimum amount down. You get your account started. Every study shows that once you get your account started, then you can start saving, and it makes a difference. We all know how expensive college is, and if you start now, it's better than starting the day after. So please try to go to futurescholar.com, start that account. You can do one for your kids, your grandkids, your cousins. You can do one for me or Phil. Yeah, that's it.
I'm afraid my college days are behind me, and that's a good thing.
You know, they tell me there's a accredited golf college in Florida. I hadn't checked it out yet, but I was told about a good source. Can you imagine? Go down there and take your classes. You can be the next Phil Mickelson.
I'd be majoring in double bogeys. That's what I'd be majoring in. Double bogeys.
Well, again, I want to thank you very much for the time. We appreciate being able to speak to your listeners. Saving for college is very, very important, and the Future Scholar program at the South Carolina Treasurer's Office is by far the best way to save for money. It's tax advantage. The state of South Carolina's General Assembly has done a good job of setting this up. So if you get a chance, head on over there after the show and set up an account. You'll be surprised how easy it is.
Coach Loftus, as always, great leadership on your part. Thank you for joining us, and keep up the good work. Keep that money flowing.
Yes, sir. You too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Another program they've got is he didn't talk about it tonight, but they've got money, the unclaimed money, right? Unclaimed things, unclaimed money that if you go to the website, you can check and see if you've got some money that belongs to you from, I don't know, taxes or refunds or whatever the case may be. I keep searching, but no such luck on my end finding any unclaimed money at this point. Mark Kingston, USC baseball coach. Let's go to him. He's already announced his starting pitcher. We know the starting pitchers now for Clemson tomorrow, Askew and Wines for South Carolina. Just a few minutes ago, Mark Kingston on a Zoom with media took some questions after an opening statement. So here we go. He's in Hoover, Alabama already. Gamecocks traveled there today through Georgia and into Alabama. So here we go with Mark Kingston.
Ready, anxious to start the SEC tournament as the beginning of our postseason. Had a really good workout today. Got on the bus this morning at 9:00. Stopped for lunch in Georgia, and then got to the stadium. Put our uniforms on and had a good hour of practice, which is what they allow. And now we're back at the hotel, getting ready for tomorrow.
How are Brennan and George doing? And how do you anticipate them being available for any part of the SEC tournament?
It's still to be determined. Brennan is day to day, but he is making good progress. George is day to day. So it could go either way at this point. We don't want to rush him back because we know, the thing about knowing we're in the NCAA tournament is we really want to make sure that they're 100% for those games. So we're going to be more on the conservative side of rushing those guys back. Just want to try to get them back to full health as much as we can for the NCAA tournament. Obviously, we still want to win these games very much, but we have to have the big picture in mind. So those guys will continue to stay day to day.
Hey, Mark, thanks for doing this. On that same line, if Will Sanders had to pitch tomorrow or in the tournament, could he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's fine. I think you're addressing getting hit in the leg. Yeah, he's completely fine. And if he needs to pitch tomorrow, he'll be able to.
Mark, when you go into a tournament like this, you guys have obviously been battle tested all season long, but when you look back to throughout your coaching career, what do you think helps teams be successful in tournaments like this, knowing that you could be playing, day after day moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it, Mike. Some of it is luck. Some of it is who's hot. Some of it is matchups. Some of it is how motivated are your opponents. It all goes into it. At the end of the day, you want to feel like you're peaking at the right time, like you figured out enough about your team over the course of the year to put them in their best chance for success. And I think we have learned a lot because we have played such a tough schedule this year. So I think the pieces will be in the right spots as we start the tournament, both this tournament and the NCAA tournament. So I just think it's a combination of all those things. I think you've seen teams struggle in this tournament and then go on great runs in the NCAA tournament and vice versa. So I don't know that how this week goes will have any bearing on the NCAA tournament. But the competitor and all of us just want to win the next game we play. We want to win the next inning we play. So getting hot this week would be great, but even more so, we want to make sure we get hot in the NCAA tournament too.
You obviously don't have any control over who you play initially, but do you like playing an opponent, or does it matter to you playing an opponent that you haven't played before? And what kind of jumps off the page about Alabama, watching them and scouting them the last couple of days?
I think at this point, you're going to play good teams. Anybody that's made it to the conference tournament at this point is a good team. And Alabama is another very solid SEC team. They're scrappy. They have a lot of veteran pitchers. They've got a lot of veteran position players too. And I think they're going to be throwing what they feel is their best guy at us tomorrow. So it's a good arm, good competitor. And so they like to run a little bit. They have some power. They had a couple guys. I think they had more guys than we did on the all-conference teams. So, it'll be a good ball game like they all are.
Mark, how nice is it after Jack's injury to have a guy like CJ step up? And what have you seen from him maybe the last 2 starts that he's been out there?
Yeah, CJ's got a really good arm. Took him a while to adjust to this level of play. He struggled a little bit in the fall and struggled some in the spring. But what you get with CJ is a really good competitor. You get a really good worker, and he stayed very even keel throughout. Not one time did he whine about not getting enough innings. He's a guy that is a really good program guy. He's popular among his teammates. If you remember when he started getting some innings early on, how excited the dugout was when he was out there. And what he's shown us lately in the last few starts is that he's gotten a lot better. And it's always been a power arm, but he started to throw more strikes. And that's the key for him, is throwing strikes, because his stuff is hard to hit. It's hard to square up. All you have to do is look at his opponent's batting average to see that. So the key with him is just continue to maintain composure, continue to get more comfortable like he has, and trust your stuff, because his stuff is very good. Gives us a chance to win when he pitches.
All right, some Mark Kingston there for you. Like what he said about Wines. He doesn't whine. No pun intended there. But Wines has pitched well for them. Alabama comes in with a better batting average than USC at 269 to a 251. And the Gamecocks have out-homered them 76-61. The Gamecocks are hitting the long ball. Both teams about the same on the base pass. 29 stolen bases for Bama, 32 for South Carolina. ERAs, USC has the edge, 3.87 to 4.64. Identical fielding percentages of 977. So pretty tight matchup here. Said the Gamecocks had a much better league record, 16 wins to 12, and against a tougher schedule. But they're going to see the best pitcher, according to Kingston, that Alabama has to offer, and the Gamecocks have not done all that well against high-level pitching this year. The offense has been snuffed out in large part. We'll see if they can create some offense tomorrow in that big park, Chris. Hitting homers is not something you should rely on at the Hoover Met.
You stole my thunder, Phil, because when you mentioned that the Gamecocks out-homer a lot of teams, they've hit 76 on the season. This is not the place that you're going to blast 4 or 5, maybe 6 home runs over the course of the tournament. They're going to have to find a way to get some doubles, which they've been pretty good with this season with 91. Maybe throw in a triple or two, but you can't sit back and rely on Wes Clark to carry you offensively the way he has, especially with the long ball this season. This may be you were talking earlier, to bunt or not to bunt. This is probably the environment where if some of those sacrifice hits that Carolina has gotten throughout the season, this may be called upon for them to play a little more small ball than they're used to doing.
I think you're right. Yeah, advance the runner and get that runner home from third base, and don't let opportunities slip by you. That will be crucial. And this park it's so large. It's where homers go to die. You hit a lot of long, loud outs in this ballpark, and but I mean, Clark's got power, Eister's got power, Allen's got power, Wimmer's got power. Those 4 guys have all hit double-digit homers, and of course, Clark leads the nation with 21. Let's give you the recruiting report and then some Phil Mickelson to wrap things up tonight. Recruiting brought to you by Seawells. Man, I hope you got by for lunch today. It is unbeatable. It is delicious, and it is very well priced for you. And they've got everything, meats and vegetables and dessert and beverages It's all well done at the Seawells. And looking ahead to football season, they are now taking your orders for a game day parking. You need a place to park. They've got spaces, and they're permitting tailgating, of course. Their phone number is 803-771-7385, 803-771-7385. Email seawellscatering@gmail.com, seawellscatering@gmail.com. Tight end Jaleel Skinner of Greer, one of the top players at his position nationally, today announced the top 10. Clemson is in. USC is not. USC's been sort of on the outside with him for a little while. So Clemson is in his top 10. Tony Elliott's been recruiting him and doing a really good job. He had 14 on his list. Now he's down to Clemson, Alabama, Florida, Texas, Florida State, Miami, LSU, Oregon, Arizona State, and Oklahoma. Plans to visit Clemson for their elite retreat June 11. Receiver CJ, that's CJ Smith, Orlando, who is fast as a hiccup. He's one of the top track performers in Florida. He is down to 5, announcing from 10 to 5, USC, Arkansas, Georgia, Florida, and Ole Miss. And he has officials with Arkansas June 4th, USC June 11th, and Florida June 18th. USC's receiver coach, Justin Steps, had a long history with him, having recruited him back when he was at Arkansas. USC, now, according to tweets, these are all coming off tweets, USC offered running back Anthony Hankerson of Fort Lauderdale, a 3-star, 32nd nationally. Arizona and Florida among his offers, 1,178 yards, 14 touchdowns last season, 5'9", 190. USC offered 2023 safety Caleb Downs of Houston, Georgia. According to Steve Wiltfong of 24/7 Sports, Downs will be at Clemson June 4th. USC offered 2023 4-star tight end Luke Hasz, 6'3", 220, Bixby, Oklahoma, number 1 rated tight end nationally in his class. Other offers tweeted out by players, and these are all from St. Thomas Aquinas in Fort Lauderdale. These players all tweeted out that they got offers from the Gamecocks. In the 23 class, athlete Conrad Hussey, receiver Isaiah Hardage, safety King Mack. In the 24 class, receiver Chance Robinson, receiver Earl Culp, athlete Jordan Lyle, linebacker Nicholas Rodriguez, safety Ryan Mack, and receiver James Madison II. Offensive lineman Luke Montgomery of Findlay, Ohio, plans to make a stop at Clemson June 15th. Clemson target safety Sherrod Coville of Chesapeake, Virginia, was offered by Miami. He plans to be at Clemson June 11th. 5-star defensive end Jeremiah Alexander of Alabaster, Alabama, plans an unofficial to Clemson June 1, going to Georgia June 3rd, UCF June 11, also plans to visit Alabama, Florida. Cornerback Nikkei Martinez of Apopka, Florida, told 24/7 Sports he'll visit Clemson unofficially June 4th, USC officially June 25th. Clemson target defensive end Samuel Okunola of Brockton, Massachusetts, was offered by Georgia Tech and Pitt. Defensive end Kasim Valls of Palmetto Prep, formerly of Irmo, was offered by Jackson State. Clemson target defensive end Cyrus Moss, Las Vegas, has set an official with Oregon for June the 5th. In basketball, USC and Clemson offered 4-star, 6'6", small forward Josh Reed, and he's out of Atlanta. Will Bailey's recruiting him for USC. He talked to Frank Martin not too long ago. And Antonio Reynolds Dean is recruiting him for Clemson. And he said he likes both programs. His mother is from Rock Hill. His grandmother still lives in Rock Hill. So in particular, he said South Carolina, close to Rock Hill, makes it easy for his grandmother to get there. So he says he likes both schools a lot right now. They both like how he's a versatile player. And so he's going to probably visit both at some point. Iona offered him on Sunday. He also has Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Georgia, Boston College, Xavier, Tulane, Rice, George Mason, Penn, Florida Gulf Coast, Winthrop, High Point, and Mercer. No leaders, 17 points and 8 rebounds per game last season. USC offered 2023 6'7" Brandon Gardner of Gray Collegiate in Columbia, also 6'6" Louis Duarte of Charlotte. He's in the 22 class, and USC offered 6'7" Christian Watson of Washington, D.C. He is in the 22 class as well. There you go with the recruiting update for tonight, brought to you by Seawells. We recommend that you check out our website, sportstalksc.com, regularly for our recruiting information, and also on Twitter, use the hashtag STRecruiting. All right, Phil Mickelson. What a great day it was yesterday watching him hang on at the Ocean Course, not only beat the field and beat Brooks Koepka and beat Louis Oosthuizen, but he also beat the golf course to some degree. I think you turn in a 6 under par score after 4 rounds, and you don't come apart at the Ocean Course under the pressure of a major on the final day in the final holes. You've gotten a win over the golf course. Here he is talking with the media after taking home the Wanamaker Trophy for a second time.
Can you share your emotions about such a historic day, and what inside of you made you keep the belief that this could happen again?
It's been an incredible day, and I have not let myself kind of think about the results until now. Now that it's over, I've tried to stay more in the present and the shot at hand, not jump ahead and race. I've tried to really shut my mind to a lot of stuff that was going on around. Like I wasn't watching TV. I wasn't getting on my phone. I was just trying to quiet things down because I'll get my thoughts racing. And I really just tried to stay calm. And I believed for a long time that I could play at this level again. I didn't see why I couldn't, but I wasn't executing the way I believed I could. And with the help of a lot of people, my wife especially, but Andrew Getson and my brother Tim and Steve Loy, I've been able to make progress and then have this week. So it's very exciting because I've had a few breakthroughs on being able to stay more present, be able to stay more focused, and physically I'm striking it and playing as well as I ever have, but I haven't been able to see that clear picture. So although I believed it until I actually did it, there was a lot of doubt, I'm sure.
All right, let's go to Bob on 4.
Phil, over the last several years, as the age crept up, you never really let that get in the way. You always downplayed it, actually tried to dismiss it probably. How did you do that? I mean, certainly you know the history, that it doesn't work out as much at this point. What did you do?
Worked harder is the deal. I just had to work harder physically to be able to practice as long as I wanted to. And I've had to work a lot harder to be able to maintain focus throughout a round. That's been the biggest challenge of late. And my desire to play is the same. Like I've never been driven by exterior things. I've always been, intrinsically motivated because I love to compete. I love playing the game. I love having opportunities to play against the best at the highest level. And so that's what drives me. And I think that's what has the belief that I could still do it inspired me to work harder. And I just didn't see why it couldn't be done. It just took a little bit more effort.
Don on 3.
Couple of questions, Phil. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're going to have so many stories to tell when your career is over. You're going to tell some of them to your grandkids, I would imagine. How would you describe this day to them, do you think?
It's certainly one of the moments I'll cherish my entire life. And I don't know how to describe the feeling of excitement and fulfillment and accomplishment to do something when at this magnitude, when very few people thought that I could. But the people that believed in me, my wife Amy and Tim and Andrew Getson and Coach, those people that continue to inspire me and get the best out of me.
and you're going to be remembered for a lot of achievements. One of them now is an old guy who broke records. What does that mean to you?
So, it's very possible that this is the last tournament I ever win. Like if I'm being realistic, but it's also very possible that I may have had a little bit of a breakthrough in some of my focus and maybe I go on a little bit of a run. I don't know. But the point is that there's no reason why I or anybody else can't do it at a later age. It just takes a little bit more work.
All right, Phil Mickelson, great stuff, emotional stuff from him. Quick update on the USC women. They're playing their final 2 holes. They are plus 26. They are 6 shots back of the number 8 spot, which is held by Wake Forest, which still has some holes to play. So they've got to get hot on these last 2 holes and hope that teams ahead of them falter and they can sneak in to that last transition spot. That will do it, Chris. Safe trip to Charlotte for you. Look forward to being with you tomorrow night. Everybody follow Chris on our website and on our Twitter tomorrow. Cover Clemson. And follow me, the same, covering the Gamecocks and Hoover. And thank you, Pat. The treasurer likes you. That's a good thing. Maybe he'll slip you $1 or 2. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. The Point. The Point.